Host of the Startup Junkie, AJ, and in today's episode number 37, we are going to talk about how to identify users and moochers in business, because I know that you know that I know that you know that you know someone that really tries to take advantage of your kindness in business. And today we're going to identify how to spot the actual moochers themselves and what to do about it. So check it out. Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to today's show. I'm your host of the Startup Junkie, AJ, and I'm also CEO of ThinkGrids Media, winning verified company. Just Google ThinkGrids, and you'll see what comes up about our company. Now, you might be saying, AJ, why are you telling us about your company if you're supposed to be talking about today's topic, which is identifying moochers? Well, the reason why I'm telling you about the company is because on a daily basis, we're constantly sending quotes, sending what is called scopes of work, SOWs, to clients that might want to partake of our services, which is digital asset management, development, and consulting. So that entails a lot. And I will explain to you as we go through today's show. So thank you all for those people who are chiming in. We are streaming or multi-streaming right now on my personal profile page right here on Facebook, as well as in the Startup Junkie private group, and we are on YouTube streaming live. So I know it's a little bit early, and typically when I come to you with the topic of what we call quote unquote importance, I like to do what we call a facing video. In other words, I mean, you don't see any fancy backgrounds, you don't see the ThinkGrids logo off to the side, you don't see me in the studio. I'm just straight up talking to you about a topic that I believe is something that every entrepreneur and startup and business owner should know. A entrepreneur, if you're going to start a business, you need to know how to identify the snakes in the grass. Okay, those people who, by definition, I like to call the moochers. Those people who, who want to really take advantage of your time and your expertise just to further what it is that they're trying to do. Now, if they were staying with you, you'd probably call them a lazy bum. In business, I just call them moochers, people that just try to take advantage of a situation. And right there in front of you is our social channels. Be sure to check us out. And if you feel today's message resonates with you, definitely share this message. And if you're into podcasting, be sure to check out the Startup Junkie Live podcast. So we are uploading content daily, where you can be found on iTunes, iHeartMedia, Spotify, as well as TuneIn, and a whole bunch of other little bitty podcasting networks. Honestly, I don't even know them all. I don't handle that. I just take care of the content. But speaking of content, today I want to teach you how not to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. How not to fall for banana in the tailpipe. Yes, that is a reference to Beverly Hills Cop, Eddie Murphy. Don't remember the year. I just know it was in the, I believe it was in the 80s. But anyway, nonetheless, it is time for us to get into the show. And as usual, if you're checking out the show, be sure to chime in. Drop me a comment in the comment section. You have questions, definitely post them. And if you're unable to watch the Startup Junkie right now, it's probably because I blocked you. I'm going to be honest with you, because you're probably a moocher. And I am going to, but you wouldn't know that unless somebody told you. But I'm telling you today. Now, I know that seems a bit harsh, and we got a bunch of people in the room already. So let's just get into the show. So I'm going to start off by sharing my screen. We're going to clearly identify what a moocher is. And I have three particular stories I want to share with you. And I got this fantastic email that I want to share with you from a Moocher, and I want you to see what my response is. And you might say, AJ, why are you putting people out there like that? Aren't you concerned about getting clients? No, I'm not concerned about getting clients. I'm concerned about getting the right type of clients. And speaking of, I'm just going to share with you what one of our clients had to say. Am I cross promoting our business? The answer is yes. And I'm going to share this with you right now because I want you to understand that, what we do is real. So check this out. Check it out.
Anthony Johnson's very knowledgeable within the digital marketing space. My company hired him as a consultant. We brought him on to help shine light on some of the spending that vendors and partners that we were looking to hire, how to dissect that and see where our money was really being allocated so that we could figure out a way to get the most bang for our buck. He came in and was easily able to point that out and simplify it in a process that myself and my team, who's not educated, we're in the print manufacturing business, so this is a new space for us. He was able to set up verification and budget goals for us, and within that we were able to truly see how our ROI was going to be returned to us. We know for certain that if he wouldn't have came in and helped us, that we were going to easily be taken advantage of. We felt great within this process, and we're on a long road of success after this. So we want to say thank you to AJ.
Okay, so why did I share that with you? Well, I shared that with you because that particular type of client, which LP Printing is one of the biggest printers, or at least in the top 5 in Texas. Okay, they do printing for Smart Financial, all the Cirque du Soleil, a bunch of different stores. Any major displays and things that you see around town, chances are LP Printing did it. They are a multi-million-dollar a year company, and they entrusted us for their consulting, and we literally saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so we know that what we do actually works. Okay. However, there are people out there that will try to take advantage of what it is you do. So let's first clearly identify what a moocher is. And we're going to start through stories. I'm going to tell you how to identify some moochers and why, identifying these moochers ahead of time will save you opportunity costs. Opportunity costs are anything that robs you of your time, money, and energy. And so let's just see what a moocher is. So by definition, a moocher, yes, it's derogatory, right? Is a person that has a tendency to take advantage of the help of others, especially with little effort upon themselves. And yes, we experience this quite a bit in our business, right? Especially when we're dealing with, say, business consultants or those people who are just trying to figure out what to do in their business, but honestly, they really don't want to fucking pay for it. I'm just keeping it 100 with you. They don't want to pay for it. So when I see it, I'm like, come on, Cletus, come on. I got a razor in my bag. In other words, yes, another Eddie Murphy reference. I recognize when it's happening, when it's occurring. And I'm about to share some stories with you on how you can identify. I'm going to tell you the stories, and I am going to show you what you should do or demonstrate or how you should handle dealing with those moochers. So let's just get started. So the first story, many of you know that my background is radio and television and primarily professional sales. So I deal quite a bit with radio stations. So first story is radio stations, okay, with an S, plural. So I got 2 stories. So the first story is the story of, I'm not going to say the name of the broadcasting network because honestly they no longer exist. But listen to this, okay? Just like I do these type of shows and you chime in and you add your commentary, I also post content on LinkedIn, which is actually my biggest platform, okay? LinkedIn is a professional networking. I have like almost 7,000 connections. I have literally hundreds of recommendations and people, basically identifying my skill. People that are equally skilled or even more advanced than I am in certain skill areas. So LinkedIn is my place, right? So I posted some content on LinkedIn, and I actually had a local radio station reach out to us. I mean, they really needed help on generating revenue, but more importantly, they needed processes in place. So we went in, we sat down with them, and let me tell you the first thing that the radio station, the general manager of the radio station said to me. He goes, well, if you know all this stuff, what will prevent our people from actually saying, hey, you know what, maybe we should go and work with this guy? Well, first, I don't own a radio station, so I thought it was a rather odd question, but nonetheless, after a couple of meetings and the guy getting on the phone with me, you know, he started giving me the brother, and the black man should help the black man, okay? The brother should help the brother out in business. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about patronizing black business because we are primarily a black-owned business, even though I have a partner that is non-black, okay? But I'm all about helping promote black business and circulating the dollar, the black dollar within the black community by doing business with black businesses. Even though I have a Starbucks cup here, so for all you cynics out there, yes, I am drinking, but I made my own drink. I'm just using the Starbucks cup. But here's the point. Okay, so after the brother, they're coming at me constantly on do it for your brother, do it for our people, do it for the black people. The black people, they need to stick together and do business together. I mean, that's literally how he sounded, right? Trying to hit me with the 70s thing, right? But anyway, here's the point. This guy literally wanted me to go in front of his staff of 30 people and tell them why they should invest money into a podcasting network that they were starting, even though they were in the radio business, and that's what we were there for originally, but why they should invest $300 a month into the podcasting business that this guy was starting. So 30 employees times $300 a month, that's what, $9,000 a month. I realized that this guy was really looking for a money grab. He really wanted to bring me in for my sales skills to try to sell his people on buying something that he could not sell them on. Okay? This is absolutely 100% bullshit. I'm like, there's absolutely no way that I'm going to do this, right? And then he also got another guy who has literally over 360 something thousand followers on Facebook to come in and sell them on this podcasting network. Because as it turns out, the person that actually sold the radio station manager on the podcasting network told him, hey, this is the way you can make a bunch of money, blah, 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 right? Honestly, I found out that they were really just trying to make the rent because, one, they didn't own their own signal, which is the antenna. They didn't own their own signal. They were leasing it for about $30,000 a month, which is absolutely crazy, okay? So I told the guy no. I said, no, there's absolutely no way. I don't believe in that. First and foremost, just like I'm podcasting, I'm live now with you. Any of your talent can do the same thing, and they wouldn't have to pay much of anything to podcast live. I mean, it's just that simple. It's just that simple. So I am not going to do that. So basically, what I recognized was the guy was literally trying to use me for my ability to sell, but he was trying to disguise it behind why black businesses should support other black businesses. Okay? Well, when it comes to business, like again, I support black business. However, I am in business to do business. The business is the business of doing business well and presenting your value proposition, whatever that product or service is, to say a consumer, whoever your identified target market is. Okay? I mean, like, it is, right? It is. So I had to basically tell the guy no. So here is my recommendation to you based on this story. When someone is trying to take advantage of something that you have, something that you're really good at, and that's sales, in my case, then you just have to straight up say no. Okay? Just absolutely 100% say no. Just say to them, I am not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. No, actually, you don't have to say that, but just simply say N-O. You will be surprised how powerful the word no is, okay? So Just say no and move on. And guess what? Any business that would try to take advantage of other people, not only just taking advantage of you to use your skills, but take advantage of its employees, then you don't want to do business with them anyway, because it all looks like this huge farce. But subsequently, what happened at the end of this story, and this is a true story, they literally went out of business. And they got the podcasting network, but guess what? They're not making any money. You know, I can tell they're not making any money. You see how many people that are on their platform. They're not making money at all. So, because I've been going a little bit, I'm talking a lot on this one because this is a very important topic to me. I'm not going to share the other radio story with you, but I might share it a little bit later. And it's a very popular FM radio station that's on the radio. That's on right now in Houston. And trust me, they were straight up users too. But I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm just going to get into story number 2. The newspaper publisher. Yes. Okay. All right. So here we go. All right. About some time ago, right? Our company was brought in to take a very popular foreign newspaper into the 21st century. In other words, basically the primary distribution of this newspaper is just that. It's physical paper distribution. And you would be surprised, as big as this paper is, and I'm not going to say the name, for slander, right? But even though it's the truth, because that is the defense to slander in any court. My wife's an attorney. She tells me that all the time. They basically brought us in, okay, to give them a scope of work, SOW, on what we needed to do or what they needed to do to take their physical paper to digital, completely digital. Okay, so we literally spent weeks putting together a scope of work and a contract, and literally this was a huge project. Just to give you some context on how huge a project like this could be, if you know anything about the Huffington Post, right? To actually produce Huffington Post and before it actually sold for $300-something million, Ariana Huffington, she spent more than $1 million taking this physical thing and putting it online, okay, and promoting it and starting to get subscriptions and all that. It literally took $1 million, right? Well, we literally quoted them a rock bottom low price because we really wanted to be in that space of taking physical content and putting it all online, taking everything and digitizing it. Okay, so the total project was like $193,000. Okay, and of $193,000, we literally were gonna make maybe $35,000. When it was all said and done. Like, that was our profit, $35,000. Terrible margins, but that was our profit. So, okay, after going and sitting down with the editor, the person at the newspaper manager, sitting down with the owner, all of this, after all of this time, listen to this, after all of this time, and these meetings were not short, okay? These meetings on average were an hour and a half to 2 hours every freaking time there was a meeting, right? We had about 4 meetings, so I'm already 8 hours deep into this, and guess what? It absolutely 100% sucked because there was a digital divide. In other words, all these old school guys were really having a hard time understanding what it is I was telling them. And I fought myself, okay? Because you as a business owner, when you're trying to sell a product or service, you really need to break it down, okay? You really need to break it down. So I figured out that, there was a communication gap because of the digital divide, and I really started to break it down, and they absolutely loved it. So it took us 2 weeks to actually put together the scope of work and the contract, and we sent it over to them. Crickets. 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 So let me tell you what it was. As it turns out, what they really tried to do was to get everything, when you do a scope of work, you're basically outlining everything that needs to be done and what you are trying to accomplish within that scope of work. And you're giving a timeline because it's project management, right? In this case, it was digital project management. And so once we gave all of that, crickets. Okay, again, crickets. So as it turns out, they needed a roadmap on how to do and what to do in order to do it themselves. That's all they wanted. So they spent all of this time just to do it themselves. I found out later on good authority, and from one of my contacts, that they were really trying to do all that, but they didn't understand absolutely everything. And by the way, in the scope of work, never give everything, okay? Give an overall basic structure, but never absolutely give everything. Because if you do, chances are you won't get the client, especially if they think that they have the means and the resources to do it, which, by the way, they had the means and the resources to do it. They just did not have the roadmap, okay? Because it's very hard to find research out there on how to do that, okay? How to take a physical product and make it into a digital product where you're doing all this marketing to get subscriptions. In other words, to generate revenue, okay? To generate revenue. And so, as it turns out, the end of this story is they've never gotten it done. You want to know why? Because in our scope of work, I left some things out. So they still haven't gotten it done, and it has been more than 2 years, and they still have not gotten it done. But here is the whole moral to this story and the lesson, the takeaway, okay? The moral is, one, be careful with the amount of time that you spend with a particular client, especially when you're asking them for certain things and they're not necessarily giving it to you, and they're pushing the scope of work. They want the outline or the roadmap to how to do what it is you say you're gonna do, right? That's the first thing. Be careful with the amount of time, because remember, time, energy, and money is an opportunity cost, okay? In other words, the more you spend time, money, and energy on something, that's time, money, and energy you could be spending on something else. So you can really screw yourself up and waste a lot of money, waste a lot of potential money that you would have made by taking advantage of another opportunity. Time, energy, and money that you could have put towards something else, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing is, never give anyone everything, especially if you expect them of being a moocher. And the key identifier of a moocher is a person that asks a shitload of questions, that consistently ask questions of the minutia. In other words, say they ask you a general question, you answer the general question, then they follow up with another question, and then they follow up with another question. Honestly, they are really trying to figure out what the hell it is that you're doing, okay? So the moral to this for the newspaper publisher story is, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Yeah, I knew that was the moral to the first story. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. And you say, come on, Cletus, I see you. I got a razor in my bag. In other words, you're going to cut them at the knees, because they're not going to take advantage of you. All right. So story number 3. All right. The business consultant. All right. So this I know is going to piss some people off. Okay. This will definitely piss some people off. I know a lot of people chiming in, but I'm going to answer your questions. But let me just say this about the business consultant. Okay. There are so many business consultants out there who 100% honestly really don't know what the hell they're doing, okay? They start these business consulting services, right? And they don't have processes in place on how to consult clients. They don't know how to deliver outcomes. They don't know anything about project management. So what they do is they find people, right, that they deem knowledgeable in that space, and they try to befriend those people and start asking them questions. Wow, there are a lot of people in the room today. Looks like 9, 10, wow, 12, 14. Oh, shit. All right, anyway, let me get back to the story. I was just throwing off a minute there to see all the people that are in the room today. Right, so anyway. All right, so very recently, I had someone who basically, doing one of my shows, drop in the feed, Think Grids needs to work on responding to people. Y'all need to work on your business process. So I reached out to Barbara, who handles all of our emails, handles responding to clients, and I say, hey, what's up? Did this person actually submit a form online through the customer portal, through thinkgrids.com? She goes, I'm looking, but I don't see anything, right? So she looked, okay? As it turns out, the business consultant actually DM'd me. And I've said to many people, hey, don't DM me, okay? Don't DM me with sexual content, racist jokes. Don't DM me, okay? But if you're a business consultant, the last thing you need to know is you really don't need to be DMing people business questions or trying to set up appointments through the DMs, because chances are a lot of people don't even look at their DMs. A lot of people don't even have Facebook Messenger even installed on their cell phone. So as it turns out, the person DM'd me. Okay, I'm like, all right, well, no problem, right? So I basically set up a meeting with the person, right? The quote unquote business consultant that had all of these clients, right? And I said, you get a free 45-minute consultation. Really, it's 30 minutes, but I'll give you 45 minutes. So at the end of an hour, right? See, I'm letting the person take a little advantage of me. At the end of an hour, right? They say, oh, yeah, by the way, I got another client I need to talk to you about. So the entire consultation turned into this hour and a half meeting, right? So once the hour and a half meeting ended, the person started DMing me a bunch of other questions. I'm like, what kind of business consultant constantly DMs questions? Like, but let me tell you, the questions were very minutia. In other words, they were very detailed questions. Like, they would require research and they would require you responding in a detailed fashion, right? So instead of responding to the person, I just called them. Okay. First of all, they're getting way too much of my time already. Okay, so I called them, and you might say, AJ, you're being an ass. Okay, you're trying to get clients, you're being an ass. No, I've already recognized, I've been down this road before. I am not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Moral to the story, I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Okay, so I'm gonna cut them off at their knees. But I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm wrong in this assessment, even though I've been down this road several times, right? So after emailing back and forth, I asked one simple question. What is your client's budget? And you want consulting for your business? What is your budget? Do you know that person never answered my question? And listen to this, after several emails, this person still has not answered my question. So let me share my screen with you. And no worries, I blurred their name out. And I'm going to show you what the email looks like, okay? All right, so this is hilarious, right? Here is like 49 openings. You see this right here? 49 openings, right? Opens. See, I can track emails. I can track how many times they looked at my email. I can track all that. There's a whole slew of emails going back and forth. Now, every purple here, and mind you, I asked the person, what is their budget? They have yet to answer my question, okay? Every purple mark you see here is a question posed by them. Every red mark that you see here it requires research, or it requires a very detailed answer, right? And the purple, but hold on a second. These are questions that they want answered, okay? They want answered. Now, keep in mind, this has been several emails over several days. I estimated the amount of time that I've spent with going back and forth with this person and doing research and answering their questions. Honestly, it's probably a total of about maybe 4 hours, right? It's entirely too much time, okay? But they're trying to take advantage because they don't know. They call themselves business consultant, but they don't have processes in place. They don't have any of this in place. So you know how I dealt with them? Look what I said at the end, at the bottom. I said, we are not taking any clients on at this time. Is that true? Is that true? Is that true that we're not taking on any clients? No, it's not true. However, sometimes people will try to take advantage of your kindness. Because I was kind, I gave the person more than 45 minutes. I answered multiple questions because they got me in this thing of just helping them out. They consistently asked me question after question after question. And on the other end, they're trying to figure the shit out. Okay. They're really trying to figure it out without having to pay me. Okay. How many people actually answers those many questions? And the one thing they keep pushing me for is a scope of work. Okay, they keep asking me for a scope of work. They want to know, okay, well, how are you going to do this? And what's your timeline? And can you give me details on what you're going to do on this day and what you're going to do on that day? Are you freaking crazy? Are you fucking out of your mind? Are you insane? No, you're asking me because you don't want to pay for it. I gave them a very, very small price. I said $250 an hour. Yes, if you're a consultant, you know $250 an hour ain't shit, especially when you stand to make millions, okay? LP printing, I can't say exactly what they paid, but best believe it was more than that, okay? All right? And you're talking about a major multi-million-dollar company, top 5 printer in Texas. And that's why I share that with you, to show that this is real, okay? But here's the thing that the person, the difference between, say, LP printing or RYS salons or some of our clients in other countries, the difference is when I say what's your budget, they gave me their budget, okay? Because if I give a scope of work without a budget and then they said they give me their final budget, then they say, well, you said you'll do all of this and this is our budget. And then I'll force to go back and forth. In other words, I'm spending entirely too much time with this person. So instead of, just saying or sending them a scope of work, because that's all what they really want in the first place, because they're trying to figure this thing out, I just said, we can't do business with you. Can we take on clients? Of course we can. Is it unethical? No, it's not unethical to say that you can't take on clients, because we have the right to refuse service, especially to those people who are trying to take advantage of. So what is the moral to the story of this story? The moral to the story is don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Yes, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Yes, another reference to Eddie Murphy's iconic movie, Beverly Hills Cop. And come on, Cletus, I got a razor in my bag. That's right. Cut them off at the knees. Don't allow people to take advantage of you, because that person 100% is a moocher. And why the hell would you send an email where you ask about 10 different questions? Do you know how much time it would take me to actually write an email up? Do you know how much time it would take me to address all the other stuff that this person is asking me? So it's just easy to say, go away. You know what I mean? We're not taking on clients, or at least we're not taking you on at this time. So, whoa. I know it was a lot today, folks. This is one of the longest shows. And be sure to check out ThinkGrids Media, ThinkGrids.com. Check us out. Google us. We're an Inc. verified company. And if you enjoyed today's content, be sure to share this content with someone that it resonates. And if you like, listening to podcasts, definitely be sure to check out the Startup Junkie live show on all of your, popular podcasting networks such as iTunes, iHeartMedia, Spotify, as well as TuneIn. And be sure to check out the Startup Junkie live show coming up next Monday. We're pretty much here Monday through Friday, folks. And I just want to thank all of the people that are still in the room today. Like right now, we have like 15 people in the room. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to check out this message. I'm AJ with the Startup Junkie. And until Monday, everybody, take care, y'all.